What it do, flight crew? Now, I don't know how long it's been since I've made a Joe Goldberg tier list, and I decided, hey, season 5 came out a couple weeks ago, or like a month ago. Honestly, I don't know when, but it came out recently, okay? And as we all know, Joe's entire thing is killing people, and specifically manipulating women and killing women. So yeah, that's that too as well. So I decided, hey, how could final girls or female killers go up against Joe Goldberg? Could they survive him or would they kill him? So we're gonna do exactly just that. We have some final girls in here too, like Laurie Strode, Sydney Prescott, and we also have some other pretty OP women killers like Beatrix Kiddo from Kill Bill, and then Misha from Death Note, and Harley Quinn. So without further ado, let's get straight into this. Now the tiers are pretty self-explanatory. They'd kill Joe Goldberg is the top of the tier. 50-50 is it could either go either way and they'd lose, which means, yeah, they're cooked. And starting off with a bang, and I mean literally a bang, we have Laurie Strode. Now, after years of being hunted by Michael Myers, the boogeyman, a literal unstoppable force of evil, like let that sink in for a second, he is pure evil. Now, Laurie isn't just some paranoid woman living in fear anymore, she's transformed that fear into survival. She's built traps, stocked weapons, and turned her entire house into a fortress. Like, this woman means business, and she is her. So let's just say Joe Goldberg is targeting her for some odd reason. To be honest, I don't really know why he would, but let's just say he did for the sake of the video. He'd probably think to himself, she's pretty vulnerable, alone, and easy to isolate. Then maybe he follows her home like he usually does. Because remember that one scene in season 1 where, you know, he, yeah. And then once he followed her home, he'd be like, wait, this is a fortress. And honestly, he might think his entire life after he sees that fortress. Like, yeah, this woman is crazy and I don't want anything to do with her. Once she realizes that Joe is a predator, she'll turn the tables quickly, in my opinion, using every bit of knowledge, instinct, and trauma-forged strength to track him down and then take him out before he ever gets the chance to even manipulate Laurie Strode. And I'm not even talking about 1978 Laurie Strode in this video. I'm talking about comp. So all these characters we're talking about every single season, if they're in a show, or every single movie that they've showcased in the movies or shows. As we all know, once Laurie became a little older, she became a lot more knowledgeable and experienced. So honestly, I don't think that Joe Goldberg can get Laurie Strode. I think she will get him before he gets her, because if she can survive Michael Myers and even beat Michael Myers, yeah. No, I don't think Joe Goldberg is going to take down Laurie Strode. And next, we have Nancy Thompson from Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, Nancy Thompson, in my opinion, is one of horror's most smartest and toughest survivors out of a lot of final girls. Like, she outwitted Freddy Krueger, who is a terrifying dream demon who could have killed her in her sleep. And that took serious courage and brains. Now, in the real world, Nancy is clever and emotionally strong. But then again, she is not really a killer. And this is what this entire video is about, killing Joe Goldberg. Who could kill Joe Goldberg? Not just survive Joe Goldberg, but who could kill him? And I feel like Joe could try to exploit her empathy and use her kindness against her. Because think about it, Joe isn't a dream demon. On the surface, he is a nice and attractive young man. He does not compare to Freddy Krueger whatsoever, who is literally burned and pops up in your dreams. So she wouldn't really notice that Joe Goldberg is a threat, in my opinion. But then again, Nancy's strength kind of does lie in her intuition. Like, if she somehow suspects that Joe is hiding something pretty darker, I feel like she wouldn't hesitate to act. But inevitably, I do think that Nancy would lose against Joe. And next we have Sally from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So for those of you who haven't watched the films, she escaped one of the most disturbing slaughterhouses in horror history, crawling through filth and flames just to live another day. That's right, she survived the Big Bubba. And that kind of trauma carves deep instincts into a person. But here's the catch. Trauma doesn't automatically make you a killer. It makes you cautious. Now, Sally's first reaction in the first movie was flight or fight, or fight or flight. And early on, she mostly ran because honestly, that's all she could do against that family. And also Bubba's like what, 6'8" or something, 6'5", he's huge. So yeah, I would run too. So if Joe lurks into Sally's life, he won't need to physically overpower her. He'll manipulate her fear, and he'd be the man who comforts her after the nightmares and lets her trauma dump on him. And once she lets her guard down, that's when it's GG. Now, if we're talking about Sally in her 2022 form from the reboot movie, she's completely fueled by rage and revenge. And I feel like she would put up more of a fight then, but those movies aren't really that good in my opinion. And I know for Laurie Strode I used, the later movies too, but all in all, I would have to put Sally in They Lose. I'm not gonna lie. And next we have Sydney Prescott. Now Sydney is a very emotionally guarded person, which is really good against Joe Goldberg. Now Joe in this situation, kind of just like every other character on this list, because this is how Joe operates, he might come off as charming at first, like he usually does, but Sydney's been through too much to fall for surface level quote unquote nice guy behavior. Well, actually, would you call Joe's nice guy persona surface level? Because I kind of think it's above average. Still, Joe is very patient, as we learned. He watches, learns, and waits until his target is vulnerable, and that's where things get tricky. If Joe played his cards right and kept his darkness hidden from Sydney, then he might be able to slip into Sydney's world. And then again, he is really good at hiding his darkness. And to me, she's not just a normal final girl. I feel like she's the blueprint for final women. At the end of the day, I do have Joe over all of the ghost faces, especially Billy and Stu. But I do feel like this could go either way, so I will put Sydney Prescott in 50-50. Just because she survived so many serial killers, not just one serial killer, not just two, more. And next we have Sienna Shaw. And as all of you may know, I am an Art the Clown fanboy, as you can tell by my profile picture. I completely love the franchise. And for those of you who haven't watched the Terrifier franchise, Sienna is the chosen one by God to defeat Art the Clown and send him back to the depths of hell. Like, she literally goes up against an immortal demon and freaking comes out on top in Terrifier 3, like in hand-to-hand combat against Art the Clown. She went from being strapped down to a chair by Art and Vicky, witnessing her mother die right in front of her, to having to overcome all of that in split seconds, to then getting out and then going ham on Art. So there's no way in hell, in my opinion, that Joe can manipulate this mentally fortified mind that Sienna has. Now I will say in Terrifier 2, her mind, wasn't mentally fortified, and in the beginning of Terrifier 3, it wasn't either, but towards the end, that's when it came true that she isn't no more. Like, she's been through hell and back, even tortured physically and psychologically by real life demons, then went toe to toe with them and even survived and almost killed Art the Clown. So if she can survive, not even just survive, beat immortal demons in hand to hand and in the mental game, she can survive a mortal man, in my opinion. So with Sienna Shaw, I'll put it right here. And next we have Misha from Death Note. Now Misha on the surface looks very sweet and harmless, but make no mistake, she might be pretty attractive, but she's one of the most dangerous women from this tier list that Joe could ever run into. Why? Because she has a death note. With just a name and a face, she can write down someone's name in that book and boom, instant death. It'll be over before it even began. And it even gets worse. Misha has something called the Shinigami eyes, which means she can literally see anyone's real name just by looking at them. So she doesn't have to go through the struggle to know what's Joe's real name. She would just see it instantly just by looking at him. So if she spots Joe from across the street and sees his full name above his head, he's already a dead man walking. But here's the catch. Misha is also known for being emotional and pretty easy to manipulate, especially by people she falls for. And for Joe, manipulation is his whole game. And also, he mogs, not gonna lie, so I feel like she would fall for him. And if Joe finds out about Misha's secret, I feel like he would absolutely try to gain her trust and even make her vulnerable. And it wouldn't be the first time he's used love as a weapon. So really it comes down to who gets the upper hand first. If Misha spots Joe and doesn't hesitate, he's done. But if Joe gets close to her and starts playing mind games, then it's a different scenario. But Misha is completely loyal to Light Yagami, so Misha is killing Joe Goldberg. And next we have Beatrix Kiddo from Kill Bill. Now this one might be a little bit overkill because she's the same woman who got shot in the head, then woke up from a coma, and then immediately started working her way through a hit list of some of the deadliest killers on the planet. Like if you watch the movie, she slices through everybody. And not even just 1v1s. I'm talking about 88v1. I'm not even over exaggerating. 88v1. She won an 88v1. So enough said. Yeah, Beatrix is going and they kill Joe Goldberg. And last but not least, we have Harley Quinn. Even without Harley's comic book level powers, Harley is completely unpredictable. 1 minute she's laughing, then the next she's turning the room into a war zone. She is physically strong and just unhinged enough to keep even the most manipulative people on their toes. And Joe's usual tactics like manipulation, I don't think would really get him anywhere with Harley Quinn. Like she's been around monsters like the Joker for years. And she knows when someone's playing games because she's like the creator of games next to the Joker. So yeah, once she senses that something in Joe is off, I don't feel like she would ignore it. In fact, I feel like she might even enjoy messing with him just to see how far he would go. So this one is just another no-brainer. Harley will kill Joe Goldberg. And yeah, this is my tier list. Let me know what you guys think. Did I cook or did I absolutely completely fail? And also, I just want to let you guys know I do have a Discord. So if you want to join the Discord and give me video ideas that I can use for, future videos, and I will, of course, give you a little shout out at the start of the video. So yeah, if you're interested in joining the Discord to give me ideas or just to talk about your favorite shows, join the Discord.